Order. The Board of Supervisors of the Township of West Deer are holding a public hearing on an application for a planned residential development, being referred to as version 2, filed by the applicant, Traditions of America, to construct 163 single-family units. The subject property is located on Monier Road, Links Way, block and lot number 2011, E as in Edward, 0058. Residents and taxpayers of the Township of West Deer and the tenants will be permitted to comment on the application. To begin with, we're going to go through a couple preliminaries, but I don't think I have to get too into detail as to how the hearing is going to work, because I think most of you have been at the last hearing on this same project or a very similar project on the same property. But just remember that we do have a court reporter with us. She is taking everything down as we speak, so please speak slowly and clearly. You can't yell out from the audience. We need you to identify yourself, spell your last name before you speak. The way the order is going to go is that we're going to have the applicant put on the applicant's case. During that, upon the closure of the applicant's case, we will have any objectors put on their cases. And then we will allow the applicant a brief rebuttal at the end. Once that's concluded, we will allow those individuals who are not aggrieved parties, in other words, they live too far away or not otherwise able to establish party status, will be permitted an opportunity to comment at the end via public comment session that will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Before we begin, I'm going to ask the court reporter to swear everyone in who may be speaking tonight. So even if there's a 1 in a million chance you're going to talk, if you could stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in, I appreciate it.
You can do it. Okay. Please raise your right hand if you intend to testify or speak at all. Okay, I'll talk really loud. You're right on. Do you solemnly swear by Almighty God the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or do you affirm? Please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
All right, another preliminary matter. I would ask Assistant Manager Amanda Lucas if you could introduce yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Amanda Lucas. I'm the Assistant Township Manager and Zoning Officer for West Deer Township.
All right, Ms. Lucas, you handed me prior to this hearing a document that has a email from Ms. Jody French back and forth with the Post-Gazette confirming advertisement of this hearing on Sunday, February 22nd and Thursday, March 5th. Is that a true and correct copy of the proof of publication?
Yes, that is correct.
And so those advertisements were run on those dates for this hearing?
It was run on the 26th and the 5th.
Great.
February 26th, March 5th.
Thank you. And the last 4 pages appear to be photographs of a posting of the property. Or they appear to be photographs. What are these photographs of?
Those are photographs of signs advertising tonight's public hearing, which were posted at the entrance to Links Way and the entrance to the Pittsburgh National Golf Course property off of Links Way.
Thank you. We're going to mark these notice exhibits as collectively as Township Exhibit 1. All right. Before we turn it over, yes, sir.
Just a point of procedure.
We need to hear. You need to come up and you need to give us your name and we can get you on the record.
Again. My name is Robert Schilp, and I live at 1120 Links Way.
Can you spell your last name?
Sure, SCHILPP. And my procedural question is, you mentioned that the applicant's going to go first and do whatever it is that they're going to do. During that, is that the appropriate time for folks like myself to ask questions?
So you will, if you're a party objector, you will have an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses.
Okay.
So
all I do is raise my hand and say, I just want to do it the right way.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you for the question. So the next thing we're going to do is move on to establishing who has party status in this proceeding and who does not. And again, we had previously established in the other plan, and again, because we're talking about the same area, that those in the Links development will certainly be recognized as having party status.
Okay.
If there's others who believe they should have party status, we'll hear from them on a more individual basis. But yes, you're correct. The applicant will put on his first witness. When the applicant's witness is done, I will provide an opportunity for cross-examination. I believe we have one objector who's represented by counsel. We may have more, so we're going to start with the lawyer, just to give him an opportunity to cross-examine, but anything the lawyer does not cover, we will then turn it over to individual party
Okay,
objectors.
so if we have questions, just raise our hands.
Yes, we'll recognize you, have you come up, introduce yourself again, and then you'll be able to ask questions.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, as I just mentioned with Mr. Schultz, we're going to now establish who is seeking party status in this matter. So if you are an aggrieved party, again, the general rule of thumb is a half mile away from the development, but we can hear if people have arguments otherwise. And those in the links development, again, are within that distance and will be granted party status. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Solicitor Rob. My name is Attorney Anthony Cosgrove. I am entering my appearance on behalf of William Lapone. Address is 279 Lanier Road. It's only a PA 15044. He lives in the middle of the golf course. I think if anybody should ever have party status.
No argument here, Mr. Cosgrove.
I also do want to just state I do have a procedural issue to raise. I'm happy to sit down, let party status be known, and then if I could just be offered that opportunity before the applicant presents their case in chief, I would appreciate that.
Well, while you're here, why don't we just
Sure.
get you on the record so you can raise your objection?
Sure, so the objection lies with the advertisement that was run in the Post-Gazette. The advertisement was only that we are here tonight for an application for tentative approval. As far as I can tell from the record, that they also have applied for a conditional use. The ordinances of Westier Township require PRDs to be a conditional use in addition to just being typical PRDs under Article 7. Off the record, I spoke with your counsel. I understand that he is correct that PRDs are not supposed to be conditional uses as the NPC affords them. However, your ordinances have made them such. Because of that, I feel that you have an obligation to run this as a conditional use hearing in addition to being a PRD hearing. There was no advertisement for this being a conditional use hearing. Therefore, to protect the township, I would ask for a re-advertisement, make this be a PRD hearing as well as a conditional use hearing. That way you don't run into a potential issue over deemed approvals, which I also saw in the paper that somebody was trying to take on you as well for a townhouse development that you denied last year. So in the interest of everybody, I think it would be best to re-advertise with it also being advertised as a conditional use hearing in addition to the PRD.
Thank you, Mr. Cosgrove. We'll note that objection for the record, and we are going to proceed now. Any other objectors seeking party status? If you come up to the microphone, let us know your name and address, and if you're in the links development, just tell us that. And if you're further away, please let us know how far away you are from the proposed development.
My name is Nelson Crooks. I live at 1240 Nicholas Way in the Links. Are you saying that each of us who live in the Links need to come up and?
If you want individual party status and you're not represented by council, then yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yep.
My name is Robert Schilp, SCHILPP, and I live at 1120 Links Way.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz.
Sure.
My name is John Alcorn, ALCORN. I live at 242 Monier Road, which is directly across from the golf course.
Jason Timmons, THIMONS, 258 Monier Road. Also directly across from the golf course.
Pat Fosnaugh, FOSNAUGHT, 234 Monier Road.
Is this to be, Paul Anderson with an O, 268 Monier Road? Do we have to come up and say this to be able to speak again, or is this it?
So this is for being listed as a party objector versus a public commenter. So we're just registering everybody now, and you'll have an opportunity to cross-examine or put on your own case when it's your turn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just ask a quick question? This is Ryan Wotis here on behalf of the applicant. A couple of residents identified that they're directly across from the golf course, the first two. In terms of setting the record, I think it was Pat Fosnick. You said you were 238 Monier.
234, directly across from the golf course as
Okay,
well.
so it actually abuts basically across the street from it. Okay, just verifying.
Yep.
And then I think the last gentleman was 268.
268.
268.
258, we're basically on the Mag Fairway. All of
Okay,
us.
so everybody's abutting directly
Yeah,
on us.
abutting.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure the record's clear.
Yep.
Robert Banks, 276 Manier, straight across from the entrance.
Thank you.
Hi, name is Jerry Swickrath, SCHWICKRATH. Me and my wife live at 61 Marnier Road, about a quarter mile from the golf course. We also own 53 Marnier and 41 Marnier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Neil McFadden, MCFADDGN, 1164 Links Way, and I'm a member of the Links Run Homeowners Association.
Thank you. Okay. All right, anybody else?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say it again. Can you say your name again?
Flaherty, Flaherty. And I live at 1131 West Way.
Did you say Anita?
Anita, yes, A-N-I-T-A.
Thank you. Anybody else seeking to register as a party objector? Okay. With that said, why don't we go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Wotus on behalf of the applicant to present the application for tentative approval.
Good evening, members of the board. Ryan Wotus, it's W-O-T-U-S. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Goldberg, Kamen, and Garvin, here on behalf of the applicant, which is Traditions of America. As noted by Mr. Robb, pending before you for consideration this evening is a tentative PRD approval with respect to property that's located at 287 Monier Road. The subject property itself is split zone. Portion of it is located in the R1, which is the rural residential, and the other portion is located in the R2, which is the semi-suburban residential zoning district. The property historically had been utilized as a golf course known as the Pittsburgh National Golf Club, and as proposed here again is a PRD with the age-restricted 55 and older component, rather than what you traditionally would see with just a single-family housing with no restriction in terms of the age of the residency. The use as proposed is permitted within the R1 and the R2 zoning districts, subject to compliance with your applicable regulations. This presentation or this proposal, as I note, does have the specific dynamic of, although there are other uses that would be permitted as of right or under your PRD, due to this being a 55 and older development, it does substantially reduce traffic impacts, density, and other associated factors that typically would be present in a traditional PRD or a conventional subdivision plan. Importantly though, this application meets all of the standards of your ordinance. There is no modifications that are being requested as part of this proposal. The application as it stands meets every objective criteria set forth within your zoning ordinance, and as a result of that, this is a as of right plan that is entitled to approval. Total number of units, as identified, was 163 single-family residential units. 2 points of access will be proposed. Again, one off of Links Way and a new point of access off of Monier. Total acreage of the site is 188.7 acres. Just to give a very brief background in terms of the current status of plan review, your township engineer and consultants have reviewed those plans. There was a single comment letter issued with respect to this presentation, this plan, with no outstanding items that are subject to being addressed by your applicant, which again evidences that this plan does comply with your zoning ordinance. In fact, as stated before the Planning Commission, the township staff and consultants stated specifically that this plan and the application complies with all of the requirements under your ordinance. Again, as a result of the standards set forth in your ordinance, If the applicant meets those objective criteria, we are entitled to approval. From a housekeeping standpoint, Mr. Robb, I just wanted to verify, was there a township packet that was put together for this, or was it merely the advertisement? Just so I can identify what township exhibits exist.
So the supervisors were provided a packet, but it's not been marked or submitted as exhibits. It includes the application, let's see what else. Some engineering review letters.
Okay.
Utility letters, so if whatever you want to put in, we'll accept.
Yes, that's what, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't duplicating what would be in your record otherwise. So what I'd like to confirm is Shoup Engineering letter dated January 27th of 2006. There's a Gateway response letter that was dated February 2nd of 2026. There was the entirety of the applicant's submission that was made on December 23rd of 2025, which I do have the cover letter. I'm happy to submit all those electronically into the township, but that was the initial submittal that was made into the township. As part of that, there was also 2 Trans Associates comment letters dated October 6th and October 23rd, a excerpt from the Indiana Township Comprehensive Plan, and then I do have, again, just to evidence that we do have equitable title and the ability to submit this application. We do have the redacted purchase and sale agreement for the property. So would you like me to give you copies of all those? I have them, that you could then keep the record?
If you could, and do we want to just mark this as a collective exhibit, or a number of the pages, or how do you want to keep the record clean?
Maybe we just do each one individually, so A, B, just so we're making reference to, so that would be A, B.
You don't want to start with your submittal with A?
Yeah, if you want to do the whole submittal, that's fine. So the whole submittal would be A.
Okay.
Let's do that.
And what was do you have the date of that submittal by chance?
Yes, that was December 23rd of 2025.
Okay. And then B, we have the Shoup review letter of January 27th.
That's correct.
And then we have the Gateway response letter of February 2nd. With BC.
That's correct. And then I had C was, I think this, was just, unless you want to mark it, that was identifying everything that was included in that initial submission. So it could be A.
I'm going to use this as a reference for A.
For A,
Yes.
perfect. Okay. So the review letters from Trans Associates.
I'm sorry?
The separate review letters from Trans Associates.
All right, so we have review letters from Trans Associates, one October 2nd, 2025, one October 23rd, 2025. We'll mark those collectively as exhibit, applicant's exhibit D. Thanks for your patience, folks. This is boring but important. It's part of the hearing process.
And we also had the excerpt from the comprehensive plan, and that shows the future land use map.
Comp plan will be, excerpt from comp plan will be exhibit E.
And then that is the redacted purchase and sale agreement.
All right, exhibit F will be the redacted agreement of sale, establishing equitable ownership in the subject property.
Kevin, I have no objection to those being entered, but can I get a copy of them? I have an outstanding right to know request submitted to the township. I don't care if it's responsive to that, or if Mr. Wotus would like to serve me with the documents he's now entered in the public record. Just want a copy of them.
Mr. Wood, will you do Mr. Collier the courtesy of emailing him those documents?
If you're fine with emailing, I'm happy to send them over to you.
Sure. Include plan set and everything that was submitted?
That's fine, it's all, as it's part of the record, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Roth,
May I
ask a procedural question?
Absolutely, fine.
Thank you. The attorney is referencing.
I'm sorry, can I have your name again?
Neil McFadden, MCFADDEN. The attorney is referencing documents that were reviewed and submitted prior to the date of submission for version 2. So I'm very confused. Is version 2 a separate standalone submission?
Yes, it is. And so you're welcome to cross-examine any of the applicant's witnesses about that very issue if you'd like, to the extent that it might change their opinions or their letters on that, based on the change in the development.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll establish foundation for every one of those items.
Okay.
With that, I will have a couple more items, but I'll do them as we're going through the presentation. Okay, with that, I would like to call David Biddison.
Excuse me,
Yes, Mr. Schill?
can I ask a couple questions?
Not yet. The witness hasn't even started to testify.
He doesn't count.
He doesn't count.
Oh, shoot.
All right, David, could you go ahead and identify yourself for the record, please?
David Biddison, B as in boy, IDDISON. I'm one of the two owners of Traditions of America.
And are you personally familiar with this proposed development of this PRD in Westier?
Yes,
And as part of the development, is Traditions of America proposing to construct a mixture of single-family homes?
yes,
And each of these homes, as part of the development, would be 55 and older restrictions, correct?
yes,
As proposed, the development will consist of 10 different styles of types of what we call base homes for the customers to select from, is that correct?
yeah, there are 5 individual homes that can either be 1-story or 2-story, and then with each one of those elevations, there's multiple front elevations, multiple widths and depths, and the ability to customize each one of the homes.
And just for the record, I would note that as part of the applicant submission, that was identified as TOA PNGC elevations, which were submitted as part of Exhibit A, or marked as Exhibit A for this evening's hearing. And talking about those homes, so they'll provide for different sizes, styles, and a variety of that type of home, is that correct?
Correct.
And as part of this development and all of your developments, do you permit your customers to go ahead and customize each of those homes?
Yes,
And could, for example, would this include a larger square footage than the base home?
yes, people can bump out the rear of the home, the front of the home, and each home has varying widths and depths as well.
And this could also include additional garage space if they so choose,
Yes,
and it could include a second-story bedroom.
yes,
And with those options, that'll create basically what we consider individualized and customized homes throughout the community.
yes,
Are you proposing a clubhouse as part of the amenities at this development?
yes,
And will that provide for an outdoor pool, pickleball courts, hot tub, and fire pits?
yes,
And in the interior of this clubhouse, there would be a large gathering space, billiards, golf simulator, and workout facilities.
yes,
And these on-site options or recreation options that we just discussed, those would be made available to residents and their guests and be protected as part of the declaration of covenants for the development. Is that right?
yes.
Okay. No further questions for Mr. Biddison. So, yeah, and I heard you said, would you like me to walk through the entire presentation and then come back, or?
No, sorry if I misspoke or was not clear, but I think while we have a witness up, we're going to try to get that witness completed so that they're done for the proceeding.
Okay.
So we'll start with Mr. Cosgrove. Do you have any questions on cross-examination for Mr. Biddison?
Just one limited, but Ryan, maybe you could just, can you give us a roadmap of who you're gonna have testify, so I know who might be coming up next, so I don't waste anybody's time asking.
Site civil engineer, traffic engineer.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Site civil engineer.
Site civil engineer and a traffic engineer.
Thank you.
Yep.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Biddison, for coming.
Sir, you have to get on a microphone or.
Okay, yeah, we're
Facing.
gonna have to share these.
Absolutely.
Can you please describe just what the facades, are they gonna be all one monotone look, are there gonna be a variety of color designs, just generally speaking, what's it look like?
There are a variety of color palettes and construction materials.
Is that up for each individual lot owner to pick, or are there going to be set models that they can pick from on each individual lot?
Subject to our design oversight, each individual homeowner gets to select their front elevation.
So then every lot owner could pick every single design to be the same and it have no difference between each lot.
That is not what I testified to. I specifically said, subject to our design oversight, so no, that cannot happen.
Okay, and how does that design oversight work? So if I'm a lot owner and I want to come and purchase a house and I want to have the same house as the person next to me, who has the same house as the person next to me, you're going to say, no, you can't do that. We're going to terminate your contract?
We have a full-time designer, sometimes 2 full-time designers, that have oversight of that. And yes, we will not let two people do the same thing next door to each other.
Okay. And then when it comes to the varying widths and sizes of the houses, does that design process also relate to that as well? So that way each lot has to have a different width or different width of house, or is that only the aesthetic look of it?
You could have two homes that are the same width next door to each other, but the design criteria will be different.
And can you just provide for the board, what's the minimum width of one of your models and the maximum width of models?
The minimum width will be 36 feet. We build a 40-foot wide home. We build a 42-foot wide home. And based on the lot sizes, we'll likely build even a wider home than that.
How wide?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so I'm just gonna spitball here and you tell me if it's incorrect. So you could have 48 width house next to a 48 width house, is that correct? Potentially?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Rudd.
Thank you, Mr. Cosgrove. Would any other of the registered party objectors, and I have your names in front of me, but I may not be able to identify who it is, except Mr. Schultz, I definitely. Mr. Schultz, now keep in mind, just a couple, as lay individuals, I know folks are not used to cross-examining witnesses, so I'm gonna provide some suggestions or tips. Number one, now is not the time to make your case or provide testimony and evidence for your case. What you want to do is ask questions of the witness based on the testimony that he has provided on his direct examination.
Does that include testimony he gave, for example, in January?
Well, I would say no, because this is a different plan, and this is a different development, so you want to focus on...
And if he doesn't want to answer, you don't think it's appropriate, you'll just tell me that, right?
Right, and so, and his attorney will probably object and force me to make a decision.
I expect him to object to everything.
But by way of example, by way of example, this would not be the individual to ask questions about traffic to.
No, I'm not going to ask about traffic.
All right, Mr. Schultz, take it away.
Okay. Now, I had intended these questions to ask the attorney, so bear with me here a little bit. Okay. So far, there's been no mention of the proximity of your plan to the links at Deer Run. So, but you are aware of the proximity of your project to the links at Deer Run.
The adjoining neighborhood, yes.
Okay. How far would you estimate it is from the links at Deer Run to where your construction is going to begin? There we go.
Yeah, I would just object to, this is beyond the scope of what the testimony was from the direct questioning in terms of design scale of the project itself. We're now going into dimensions and everything else that I think would be more appropriate probably for another witness.
Right, so Mr. Schultz, I'm going to sustain that objection, and only to be clear, I think Mr. Biddison is sort of testifying on a high level as to design and the project. Those sorts of specific questions will be better off for their civil.
That's fair. I'm okay with that. Okay, I have to read my notes here.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, you were the co-owner of Traditions of America for the project known as Rose Ridge?
Yes.
I'm going to object again. I'm not sure it seems to be beyond the scope. We're going to a different project now.
So, Mr. Schultz, help me understand the relevance of the Rose Ridge project to what's in front of the board right now, which is solely, this particular development in this particular spot. Keeping in mind too, and that's something I usually say at the beginning, and I didn't do it as part of my intro, partly because we sort of run this here back before, but the role of this board in this particular proceeding is to review the testimony and evidence as it applies to this particular property against the provisions of the zoning code, and if the applicant establishes compliance with the zoning code, the board is required to give them approval. If the applicant does not meet its burden to establish compliance, then it's up to this board to deny the application. It's their duty. So when we're talking about items that are germane to that decision or relevant, I think Mr. Wotis' objection is, well, no matter what happened at Rose Ridge, we're in a different location now and a different property, and so what's in front of the board is not anything going on elsewhere, but does the applicant meet the requirements of the zoning code for this particular development?
Yeah, what I'm trying to suggest to the board, okay, is that this decision goes beyond dimensions. This applicant is, I'm going to start to testify.
That's right.
I didn't want to.
That's okay. But listen,
I caught myself doing it.
I appreciate that. And when it is time for the objector's cases, that will be a perfect time to come up here and have that conversation.
And I will.
Any questions from
Okay, but back to the question that I wanted to ask, because I wanted to ask about Rose Ridge as well as the one in Richland. And what I'm trying to suggest, and what I want the board to hear.
I would object. I think this is testimony that he can give at a different point, but this is reserved for cross-examination.
Yeah, we've already determined that, your question, Mr. Bidison, because it doesn't relate to this development, is not appropriate for cross. But again, it is something that we'll hear from you as your case in chief as an objector.
Okay. See, that's the disadvantage of not being a lawyer, I guess. Let me just read my notes some more here. Okay, since I can't ask the questions that I wanted to ask, I'll wait and ask someone else.
One of the engineers who's going to be testifying, I think, is going to be able to respond to your technical questions about this particular development.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
All right. Okay, none of that, please. Anyone else for cross-examination? Mr. Timmons?
Yes, sir. Jason Timmons, thanks. Just a couple quick questions. Mr. Bidison, do you or anyone in your company ever plan on residing in this community or in Western Township permanently?
May I object again to relevance?
There will be there.
Well,
It's a simple answer.
Well, help me understand the relevance before I.
I'm just trying to figure out how they will tie themselves into knowing what our community is gonna be altered by putting this community in. So, all right, strike that one, thank you. My next question, does your company have a long-term plan or a long-term requirement for maintenance on the roads leading up to your new development? Like, will you maintain Monia Road? Will you be paying for those costs?
Well, I would just object in terms of, again, beyond the scope of what the direct was. I think that I could answer though in terms of that would be a regulation.
That's a question for the company. Are you the owner of POA?
But what I'm saying is
He is.
not to get into too much of a nuance on this though, but what the cross goes to is related to what he had testified to, which is more design characteristics of the homes that are going to be constructed within
I get that, I
area.
understand that, thank you. I don't know how a non-company owner can answer that question.
Well, I'm
And
just here representing.
this is the time to cross the company owner.
Sure, with respect to items that he had testified to.
So I
Yes.
can't ask questions past what he was asked by you.
That's correct.
The subject matter of his testimony is what you're cross-examining to. Now, a traffic question like that, which I think.
Last question, that was road maintenance, township question.
Road maintenance is kind of related to traffic, so
Yes.
maybe sorry, we can't be talking over each other. Maybe the traffic engineer who's going to be testifying would be able to provide some information, but you can at least ask that question to that.
Sure. Okay, that's fine, and I'll leave until then, thank you.
Okay, you got it. All right, any other questions for Mr. Bidison before we release him from his witness role? Okay, hearing none, Mr. Wood is your next witness, please.
I'd like to call Alberto Harkeen as my next witness, please.
This guy again.
My name is Alberto Harkeen, J-A-R-Q-E-Y.
I'm sorry, you can't speak, but we'll get on the record here. It's coming through loud and clear.
J-A-R-Q-U-I-N.
I'm sorry, say it again.
J-A-R-Q-U-I-N from the Gateway Engineers. I'm the site civil project manager.
And Alberto, can you identify you registered professional engineer in Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Yes.
How long have you been a registered professional engineer?
Since December of 2000.
Folks, I'm sorry, you need to speak very clearly. So you can speak these stuff out of
We came here that moment. Well, what did you move it? I asked these gentlemen, the people asked you to move the microphone towards you.
Okay, so we'll work with you on that, and we'll try to do that, I apologize.
Well, just move it towards you so we can hear what's going on.
There's an extra one. Sorry, we're not talking
Give it a test.
Folks in the back, have you been able to hear what I was saying? I'm seeing a lot of head nods, so we're doing the best we can.
Do you want to give that a little test?
Yes, December 12, I'm sorry, December of 2009, 17 years.
That's when you became a licensed professional engineer?
Yes, in Pennsylvania, yes.
Okay. And what's your specific position with Gateway Engineering?
I am a project manager.
And you've identified that you were the site civil engineer that was responsible for preparing the plans that were submitted as part of this application.
Yes.
And in terms of walking through the development a little bit, I have a few questions. So this site plan, as discussed, the development pool, it's true the development will consist of 163 single-family homes.
Yes.
And the site, the plan as proposed will provide for 2 points of access, one along Links Way and one along Montier Road, is that correct?
Yes.
And within the proposed site plan, there will be on-site circulation that will provide direct access to each of the units as proposed, is that right?
Yes.
And as part of your design of this, did you take into consideration the township standards with respect to roadway design, sidewalk design?
Yes.
And based upon the plans as submitted, the proposed roadway system does comply on all fronts with township's subdivision and land development ordinance.
Yes.
And it also would comply with any other applicable regulations.
Yes.
And in talking through what would be taken into consideration, that would include horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, and cul-de-sac designs, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's the total number of contiguous acres that comprise the site?
188.7.
As part of your engineering of the site, have you confirmed that there would be public sewage and public water that would be supplied to each of the structures within the PRD?
Yes.
Have you also confirmed that there is sufficient capacity, one with the Deer Creek Drainage Basin Authority?
Yes.
Have you also confirmed with Oakmont Water Authority that there's sufficient capacity?
Yes.
As part of the overall submission, did we go ahead and through Gateway, did the applicant submit a preliminary post-construction stormwater management memorandum for the township's review?
Yes.
And was that subsequently reviewed by the township?
Yes.
Were there any comments requesting revisions to that, or was it accepted in the form that it was submitted?
It was accepted in the form that was submitted.
Okay. In terms of the total density of this plan, would you confirm that it does not exceed 110% of what would be the density that would be permitted under the conventional subdivision plan?
Yes.
And as part of that, you submitted a proposed conventional subdivision plan to verify that figure, is that right?
Yes.
And that was submitted as part of the applicant's application?
Yes.
Do each of the units as proposed have access to a common street, road, or other area?
Yes.
Within the R1 district, are each of the units spaced 50 feet or greater apart?
Yes.
Would you confirm that within the R2 district that each of the units are spaced 30 feet or greater apart?
Yes.
Do the plans as submitted evidence a 50-foot buffer yard in the R2 district and a 75-foot buffer yard within the R1 district?
Yes.
Are the front yards within the R2 district a minimum of 25 feet?
Yes.
And with respect to the front yards in the R1, are those designed to comply with a minimum of a 35-foot front yard?
Yes.
Does each unit as proposed maintain its own private driveway?
Yes.
And are each of those driveways a minimum of 18 feet?
Yes.
As for each of the buildings that are proposed, we have discussed this as a single-family detached development, but each of the buildings will contain one unit, is that right?
Yes.
And the buildings and structures proposed on the perimeter of the development are proposed to be screened by existing vegetation and some supplemental vegetation that will be installed by the applicant, is that correct?
Yes.
And based upon the significant spacing between the units, in accordance with the PRD regulations, from an engineering perspective, is it your opinion that the proposed plan will provide sufficient sunlight and air so that the same are not obstructed based upon the design of this development?
Yes.
With respect to that spacing, will that also provide for adequate fire and emergency access to all sides of the buildings?
Yes.
Does the plan provide for a minimum of 30% of the total site being designated as total open space?
Yes.
And the total open space as proposed in accordance with the calculations, would that be equal to 92.8 acres?
Yes.
And so that exceeds the threshold for the minimum number of open space, correct?
Yes.
And your calculation of the open space takes into consideration, does it take into consideration each of the provisions of the ordinance that regulate that calculation of open space?
Yes.
And those regulations are generally set forth in section 210-106.c, subsection 1 of the zoning ordinance.
Yes.
Can you also confirm, based upon the plans as designed, that they would contain at least 25% of the open space is located on buildable land and not more than half that space is designated for active recreation?
Yes.
And does that open space as proposed contain numerous types of natural features? Meaning that would include water courses, topsoil trees, wooded areas, meadows?
Yes.
So all of those different features are included as part of our open space?
Yes.
And based upon the proposed grading and design, again, the lot layout and design would preserve a lot of those natural amenities in the condition they're currently in some respects greater than the neighborhood which is located.
Yes.
Does the development maintain clear access to the open space from the streets that's greater than 15 feet in width?
Yes.
And those access points are from the public roads that are proposed as part of the development, is that correct?
Yes.
And that access to those common open areas, that would provide for pedestrian and non-motorized vehicle access, is that right?
Yes.
And as this is proposed to be a phased development, will the plan comply with the open space requirements for each portion of the phasing?
Yes.
And that means that the 30% open space that's required would be there for phase 1, and then 30% would be there for phase 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do each of the units provide for integral garages that are 22 feet in width at a minimum?
Yes.
Does each of the units provide for 2 parking spaces within the driveway as well?
Yes.
And the driveways, based upon the additional setback, has created sufficient space for the length of each parking stall, is that right?
Yes.
Does the site provide for pedestrian sidewalks along each of the roadways?
Yes.
So meaning both sides of the road now have sidewalks as proposed?
Yes.
And those sidewalks are designed in accordance with the regulations in the subdivision and land development ordinance?
Yes.
And again, those sidewalks and roadways comply from a design perspective and specifications in the ordinance?
Yes.
And the sidewalks as proposed, would those go ahead and provide for adequate pedestrian circulation systems throughout the development?
Yes.
And this came up, I think, with the last plan. Those are ultimately segregated from traffic in terms of the design, meaning they would be separate and distinct from the roadway.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further for Mr. Harking?
Thank you, Mr. Lotus. Mr. Cosgrove, anything for Mr. Harkeen?
Cool. How are you, All right, if you bear with me, we're just gonna go through some of these finer points so I know exactly what's being proposed. Can you just confirm on the record that this is being proposed as a new PRD?
Yeah, I would object. I mean, I think it's a legal question in terms of what's being submitted here.
Is this being proposed as a revision to an existing PRD or a new PRD as a whole?
I'll state for the record, this is a new application.
Okay, so it's not a revision, got it, thank you. What is the minimum rear yard setback being proposed on the lots in the plan?
I'm sorry, there actually isn't any rear yard requirements, it's just based off the building separation as part of the PRD.
Okay. I'll reserve legal argument for later. And then proposed side yard, your answer would be the same then?
It's the required building separation, yes.
Okay, so on the building separation, do you have do you have a lot width that you're proposing for all these lots?
Yes.
What is it?
We show lots that are 62-foot wide minimum.
Okay, so 62-foot wide minimum.
I'm sorry. That is not true because this is a bigger plot. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
We have the lots that are, we have in the R1 where you have 50-foot separation, we have a 42-foot building plus 25 on each side. So you have 50 plus 42, you have 92-foot width for the R1 lots.
Okay.
The R2 lots would be a 42-foot wide building with 15 feet on each side. So you have 30 plus 42, so you have 72 feet.
Okay.
Minimum.
So going back to the testimony of Mr. Binnison said that the widths could be variable and can go all the way up to, I suggested 48 feet, and he had no problem with that. So if I were to build two 48-foot wide houses next to each other, you would not be complying with the lot separation requirement then, on those two lots as you was.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
You just represented to this board that if you design the lot widths based off of two 42-foot wide houses next to each other, if one of those houses was 48 feet in width, as Mr. Binnison testified to earlier, you would then probably not complying with the separation in that district.
Well, you would. What I'm saying is we have the lots laid out. Those are the minimum lots. If you have a bigger building, then you have a bigger lot. Those are the minimums that I mentioned.
Right, but you're proposing 136 lots, so 163 lots. How are you going to tell me then that you're going to eliminate a lot?
That's what would happen. I mean, you would lose lots. You wouldn't be adding lots, you'd be losing lots, yes. If people choose to use bigger houses, then.
So you would come back in with amended PRD to get approval to eliminate those lots?
Well, I would object. I think part of this is discussion from the design standpoint and the developer standpoint. I think what you're getting at is the plan at the end of the day is going to have to comply with the underlying PRD regulations. So whether we did 48 feet or 42 feet, they would still have to maintain the exact separation. So you couldn't put physically a 48 next to a 48 if it doesn't meet the separation. The underlying PRD requirements still maintain and dictate what can be developed there.
So I want
to avoid legal argument.
That's all.
So we're trying to, so to the extent there's an objection, Mr. Willis, it's overruled, Mr. Riley, you can continue.
Yeah, understood. So then, what are the frontages of these lots? Is the entire width going to be the frontage?
In front of the house, you have a
Yeah,
lot.
street frontage.
Well, these units do not have, these would be a condominium style, so there will not be property lines in between.
So this is being proposed as a condominium where so the lots are going to be erased and the entire property is going to be owned as a condominium.
Correct, yes. We have, the houses will maintain the 50-foot separation, and we show, the ghost lines for the lot lines to show how we maintain that within the buildings.
Okay, so there isn't, okay. And then, okay, so that eliminates my question regarding lot area then, so you're just going to have one condominium.
As far as the PRD, I mean, there's no setback requirements other than the 25-foot front yard, 35-foot front yard, 50-foot building separation, and 30-foot building separation. There's no minimum lot area, there's no side yard setback, none of that, so.
I understand that opinion, might be a legal argument, but I won't belabor it. How are you, so getting into the buffer yards, how are you going to ensure that adequate screening is provided to the neighboring property yard? You had testified earlier regarding that you are going to plant in areas that aren't existing woodlands, is that what I understand?
Correct.
Okay, and what are you going to plant there?
Right now, this is still preliminary. We have identified the buffer areas. When we get the final plans, we will meet the requirements of the ordinance for buffer screening.
Okay. Regarding the open space, obviously it's a golf course. There's woodlands on it now, but there's also large amounts of open space that were golf holes. Is the open space just going to be the remaining woodlands, or are you going to be installing additional features?
That's a question for the owner. It's not.
I think it's you testified that there were going to be meadows, water courses, and woodlands. Well, existing on the property today, there are no meadows. So are you going to be planting meadows? Are you going to be ensuring that there are a variety of those types of open space elements that are required in the ordinance? Or are you just going to leave what's there currently in?
Leave what's there currently.
Okay. I believe you testified that the percentage of the open space that's located on buildable land suitable for active recreation was, can you just repeat that again? What was the amount that you provided?
We have 98.2 acres.
Okay, and how did you get to that number? What is buildable to you?
Buildable is areas that are 25% slopes.
Okay. And what active recreation are you planning for the open space in the plan?
Trails.
Just trails?
I mean,
Okay.
we haven't gone that far into the design for that. I mean, it's not, right now it's preliminary plan.
Okay. And then, where are the pedestrian rights of way in the plan connecting the open space to the street?
I can show you that.
Mr. Lotus, is the plan that's being put up on the easel here, is this part of the submission marked as Exhibit A?
That is correct.
Thanks. There's all these areas along the existing or the proposed frontages where you can access the open space. There's breaks in between here, you can get there right here. All these different areas is along the public right of way where you have access, direct access to the open space.
Okay, and then within the right of way, within the open space, is there additional areas where trails are going to be laid out and pedestrian access is available?
There will be trails throughout the development, yes.
Okay. And then while we have the plan up, just can you confirm what the distance is from the cul-de-sac to that intersection of the street?
Right here?
Yeah.
Let me get on my plan.
Can you turn that forward?
You testified that it was compliant. I'm sure it is. I just wanted it on the record.
Okay, just give me the link, 1 second. So that cul-de-sac is 850 feet.
And is there any talk about, so both of those access points, one on Lanier and one on Links Way, those are going to be full access, correct? There's no emergency access gates or anything being proposed?
Correct, full access.
Those are all the questions I have, Mr. Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Cosgrove. Mr. Lotus, any redirect before we move on to the next party objector?
Just one question for you, Alberto, is talking about some of the on-site natural features, the meadows that we're talking about, that would be consisting of the existing golf course grasses, correct? That would be grown to be, that could be a meadow, is that right?
Yes.
And there are other water courses that are located on this site?
Yes.
And there's mature trees that are located on this site, is that
Yes.
correct? And there's other areas of mature vegetation that would be maintained as a result of this proposed development? Is that
Yes.
right? You had also, I guess, more than one question, always a lawyer mistake. In terms of the discussion with respect to sizing of houses, at the end of the day, although there is substantial customization as testified by Mr. Biddison as part of TOA's overall design standards, each of the buildings would, at the end of the day, when it comes in for final PRD approval, would meet the appropriate spacing, front yard setbacks, which are the only real design spacing requirements in the ordinance, is that correct?
Yes.
So to the extent that a customer chose to build a 48-foot home and an adjacent neighbor decided to build something similar, they would be prohibited, and the plan would still maintain the existing spacing, meaning the 50 feet where needed or 35 feet needed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lotus. Any of Mr. Show?
I'm gonna try again. If you're gonna kick me down the road again,
No, listen, hey, we want to work with you. We want to make sure your questions are answered. I will.
and I do appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. I do want everyone to know that we are going to be stopping at 7 o'clock and continuing this hearing to a date in April. So we may not get through all of Mr. Shoup's questions. We're going to try to. But if wherever we are at 7, we're going to stop because we have a monster agenda for the regular board meeting.
You may kick me down the road real quick, so it could be.
Okay, so Shoup, you can make sure you stay in front of the microphone so the court reporter can get everything you're saying.
Let me, can I just point this? Oh. Way too formal for me. Okay, can you tell me the distance from here, well, let's say from here to here.
Mr. Shope, and I apologize, but when we have a transcript, no one's gonna know what you're referring to, so can you give us some description?
Well, I can be real specific.
Perfect, that'd be great.
Okay, can you tell me the distance from the mailbox, the first mailbox on Links Way, which is located right here, to this area of development, to the first?
To the first building?
Yeah. Well, let's start with here.
Just to give you an idea, this black line is a 50-foot buffer, so we're at least 50 feet off of the right of way. Then you have probably another 50 feet, so you're 100 feet from the house.
So 100 feet
From the first house.
from the first house.
Off of the right of way.
So less than half a foot off here.
Yeah, it's 150 feet for every kid.
Yeah. So close.
100 feet.
Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. It's not testifying. It's probably
Spit it out.
all right.
You're burning the clock. I like to talk.
Rags, please, stay civil.
Sure thing. Give me a minute.
Are there any other developments where there's a large community in that proximity?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's a simple question.
Yeah, but I would object, just, he's talking about, are there other developments that are built in proximity to that? It's not specific to the site itself.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Shope, we're really trying to focus on this development and this location and the ordinance that's in place. Let's put it this way, and the reason for that is, no matter what his answer is to that question, it doesn't impact the board's decision whatsoever. We're not allowed to take into account what's happening in other developments. We're stuck with this plan in this area with this zoning code.
So that's really troublesome. Because what that says is that what impacts me, I'll just speak for myself, what impacts me doesn't matter.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily true, but I'm just telling you what the law requires of this board. And so, if you want to make the case as to how you're going to be impacted by this, that's for your prerogative.
Well, I will do that, and I'm also going to suggest to the board what I think their responsibilities could be.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Shope.
Okay, sure.
Unfortunately, it is 6:59, so I think.
Mr. Rob, if I may, just two procedural questions, just so we know how to prepare for next month's meeting.
Come on up, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Sure.
First question, did the record on Plan 1 close on March 11 as was proposed? Is that record now closed?
The record was closed at the end of the hearing, just to be clear. So the distinction is, the record was, at the February hearing was when the record was closed.
Okay.
We did allow submissions for legal arguments, or what we call proposed findings and conclusions of law, and the window for that closed on March 11th.
Okay.
So the board now has everybody's proposed findings who submitted them.
Yes.
The record, no additional evidence or testimony, and will not consider additional evidence or testimony after that February hearing date. And the board will be issuing its written decision, voting on written decision at the April meeting.
Thank you very much. And a follow-up question to that. Did the board act upon the letter it received dated March 6th from the Benz law firm representing the homeowners association?
So I responded to Ms. Benz and told her exactly what I just told you.
Okay. So the record on submission 1 is closed?
Correct.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Mr. Woods.
If I could just ask one just procedural question in terms of if there's anyone that wants to cross-examine potentially Mr. Harkini, I just wanted to see if there were individuals and if they would just identify themselves.
Sure. I believe Mr. Banks is one of them, Mr. McFadden. If you're planning on potentially cross-examining Mr. Harkini, who just testified, he's the site civil engineer, can you please raise your hand? Okay, so it looks like just got
That gentleman back there? Yeah, you got it. I think there's one behind you too. Yeah, I saw that gentleman. Okay. I
Okay.
think there's three. That's just
So-
want to verify.
So we're going to officially continue the hearing until April 22nd. So just to be clear, that is not a normal meeting night of the Board of Supervisors. That is the week after the normal meeting, which is April 15th. So, and we're going to start early because we want to get everything done that night. So it's going to be a 5 o'clock PM start on April 22nd. Same location as you're sitting here tonight. So April 22nd, 5 PM in this room.
Gavin, I just want to inform my client he's not available that night and he'll be a witness in my case. So what are we going to do?
Well, Mr. Cosgrove, I had to coordinate about 11 schedules to get to this point, so I'm certainly open to further discussions, but at this time, I need to continue that to that date because that's all I got.
That's fine. I just wanted to.
I thought you posted that we could speak at this meeting, but you burnt the time off with them, so the public has not had a chance.
Mr. Banks, please. If you read the last hearing, this is exactly how the last hearing went. We only have so much time for the hearing before we have to get to the regular meeting. We try to get everyone in, but we can get close to being finished with the application.
You gave them 80% of the time.
Ma'am, so, this is not how this hearing is gonna work. First of all, you're all on the record. You can't be yelling out from the crowd. I know Mr. Banks because he introduced
Excuse me,
himself.
let me say one thing, please. They did not meet the criteria.
Mr. Banks, now is not the time to put on your case. We're not gonna hear your testimony. The hearing is officially continued. We're off the record.
103. You didn't meet it. Normally you meet 210106. So, this is just starting, obviously. Shut up.